The NBA playoffs are the best time of the year to be a basketball fan. However, this year's playoffs have been especially electric. So I'm just going to dive in, look at some of the stories that are kind of coming out of this playoffs, give you some news updates, and let's get the ball rolling. If you like the video, give it a like, comment what your favorite story I cover is, and subscribe. So first order of business, Lakers, they got swept. I didn't see it coming. I thought it was going to be a 6 to 7 game series, to be quite honest with you, but the Nuggets are really good. Because the Nuggets are so good, the matchup out of the East, honestly, to me, kind of doesn't seem that important. Whoever gets out of the East is going to have a point to prove, and it's going to be a fun series to watch. But besides that, LeBron, he did mention that he would potentially retire, but now we have some kind of mixed messaging on that as to whether he will, whether he won't, whether he'll take a year off. But Dwight Howard has taken the liberty to personally try to recruit LeBron James for the Taiwanese basketball league, so that's pretty funny. The Celtics do have a game back. They beat the Heat in Miami, and now they're going to be looking to get one at home and make this series potentially something interesting. Of course, the Miami Heat and Jimmy Butler, they don't think this really matters. I personally don't know if it does too much. I hope it does because I love playoff basketball and I just want to see the series and every series extend to 7. That'd be awesome. But Jason Tatum, one of the most hot and cold players I've ever seen in league history. He's, especially in the playoffs, he's a very consistent player on the boards and assists, but his scoring is just either there or it isn't. But he's a generationally talented player. Once again, I think Tatum is coming into his own, finding a groove. I don't think it's as big of a groove as Celtics fans would hope because it's going to take a lot to turn this series around. I mean, it would take something literally unprecedented in league history. So there's that. Ja Morant. So Ja Morant went on IG. He basically posted to his Instagram story a bunch of pictures of, family members and said, love you, and then ended the story with bye at the end. So it was just a bunch of different pictures of family members and him with family members. Basically said, love you, ma, love you, dad, love, that he loves his daughter. And then he said bye. And obviously people immediately fear the worst because that's pretty disconcerting. But after a wellness check was done on Ja, comes out that he basically is just leaving social media, and that was what that was implying. And I think that's just kind of a weird move by Ja Morant. If you're going to leave social media, just leave social media. I get he's, such a huge figure, and him doing something abruptly would also cause an equal amount of, media attention and whatnot, but it felt very disingenuous from Ja to post that. But at the end of the day, I just hope Ja Morant really just gets the type of support he needs in his life to just ball out on the court, because he's one of my favorite league players on the court, but simultaneously is one of my least favorite off the court. I just feel like he gets himself into such petty, weird dramas. I'd prefer for his sake that he just, could focus on playing the game and try to compete for a title. Joe Mazzulla is kind of crazy. That's the general kind of consensus around the league, but I think he's kind of a funny guy at times, and this was just so weird to me. Mazzulla watches The Town starring Ben Affleck apparently 4 times a week to get himself psyched up and in a specific mind state. And I just, out of all movies, The Town with Ben Affleck, kind of a weird one. And then finally, Shaq was on live television interviewing Steph during one of the playoff games. They were just kind of talking about the NBA, and basically Shaq was like, hey, Steph, don't get me in trouble again, which is referencing the FTX scandal and all that, all the cryptocurrency stuff that's going on with Steph and Shaq and a bunch of other athletes and celebrities. But basically, this man, though, just evades any sort of, serving. He hasn't been kind of served his papers in this, apparently, and he's on live TV, and I love him for that. He's just such a legend, Shaquille O'Neal. And finally, just to round out this video, my thoughts on Heat Celtics real quick. I think the Celtics might get another game back, maybe if they're really lucky, but they'll lose in 6 at best for the Celtics. I think it's going to be a good showing by Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum at TD Garden, but I don't see it going much further past Game 6. I don't think this series is going back to Miami. But on the off chance that it does go back to Miami and then goes back to Boston again, and say Boston does the unthinkable and wins a Game 7, I do want to just kind of briefly give my thoughts on how a Celtics-Nuggets matchup would look. I think it'd be a kind of fun matchup, but I do think that Denver still gets it easily. There's a lot of wings and a lot of guards that you could throw at Jaylen Brown, at Jason Tatum, and still kind of cause Jokic to generate mismatches on the Celtics defense. I do think both series will be fun, but Heat Nuggets is the series that I think is going to most likely happen, and it is an exciting matchup, and I still think I would give it to Denver, but I do crave to see Jimmy Butler in the NBA Finals again before he retires. I think that'd be awesome. Jimmy is one of the best playoff players in league history. I would be stoked as a neutral to see the Heat Nuggets final. I would be stoked as a neutral to see the Nuggets Celtics final, but Heat Nuggets is probably going to happen. It'll probably be all scheduled post Game 5 tomorrow. So that's my thoughts, but maybe Boston wins tomorrow. Maybe they win Game 5 and continue all the way out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you liked the video. I'm trying to kind of figure out a format for NBA videos that's more kind of like concise and wraps up a bunch of league stories and carry it on into next season. But if you like the video, like it, comment what your favorite story was, and subscribe for more basketball content. I'm Sideline Sedo. Thanks so much for watching, and peace.